There's a chapter in everyone's journey that no one talks about. It's not the part where you're winning. It's not the part when you're motivated. It's that in-between stage when you're grinding, you're growing, and nobody sees that. I call it the lonely chapter. It's that point in your life when you start changing your habits, your mindset, your goals, but the world around you just hasn't caught up yet. You're growing out of your old circles, but you're not deep enough into your new ones that you feel at home either, right? So you're in this limbo stage of loneliness. You start noticing that the people you used to hang out with, you don't connect the same with anymore. The conversations feel different. The energy feels off. It's not that anyone did anything wrong, it's just that you're evolving. And evolution, it's lonely. You might be in the gym every morning, pushing yourself, but nobody's clapping. You might be working 12-hour days, building your business while everybody else is having fun. You might be in a relationship that's being tested because you're changing and learning things about yourself that you didn't know that were there. It's like that Rocky montage, except it doesn't last 2 minutes with a song in the background. It lasts months, sometimes even years. And there's no crowd watching, no music, just you showing up day after day, night after night. And that is the price of entry: loneliness, solitude, self-doubt. People talk about glow up, the success, the new life, but the truth is, before you glow up, you break down to the ground. Before you find peace, you sit in silence. Before you become confident, you go through the seasons of questioning everything, absolutely everything. And this is where most people quit, because it's hard to believe in yourself when no one is watching, when there's no validation, when all you have is your own voice telling you, keep going. And that's where self-belief really matters. When it's just you, your thoughts, and the work. When conviction doesn't slip. Chris Williams said something that stuck with me back when I went to go watch his show in New York. He said, all the intelligent people are full of doubt, while the dumb ones are full of confidence. And the moment he said this, I kind of just stood and I was like, fuck, man, and it's true. The more self-aware you become, the more you see how much you don't know. But that's also how you grow. You can't fake bravery, you can't fake conviction. Doing the thing even when you're scared, that's bravery. Doing the thing when you don't feel motivated, that's discipline, that's conviction. And what's crazy is you don't just go through the lonely chapter once, you go through it over and over again. Each time you do that in order to grow into the next version of yourself. Every time you level up, whether it's in business, relationships, health, or in your own mindset, there's another lonely chapter waiting for you on the other side. Because every time you grow, you outgrow something in the past. And every time you outgrow something, you're forced into solitude again, because now you're evolving into this new version of yourself. So therefore, everything that was there beforehand is no longer going to serve you the same as the ones in the new version of yourself. So you're going to be stuck again in this little sliver of loneliness. And that's the cost of being a lifelong learner. That's the cost of never settling. You have to die to who you were to become who you want to be. And I get it. Honestly, I mean, it's not easy. There are nights when you question if it's all worth it. There are mornings when you wake up tired, not physically necessarily, but mentally, from just doing everything and holding everything together. You pray for a sign, for some kind of confirmation that you're not wasting your time and that something is gonna go right eventually. But here's the thing. God doesn't build in comfort. He builds in silence. He builds in solitude. He strips away distractions. He takes people out of your life. He closes doors, not to punish you, but to prepare you for what he has in store for you. You might not understand it right now, but this season is necessary, because if he gave you everything you're praying for today, you wouldn't be able to carry it. You would not be ready for it. You wouldn't know how to handle it, right? If you're praying for wealth and you were to get that right now in this moment, you would most likely go broke within a couple months, because you haven't built the skill of handling wealth. You haven't built the skill of handling a partner. You haven't built the skill of handling and maintaining a good physique. So therefore, you have to go through all that dirty work in order to get what you're praying for. And honestly, this is where he's teaching you how to be alone without being lonely necessarily, how to trust when you can't see, how to believe when there's no evidence yet. The lonely chapter is where faith is built, and this is where a lot of people start turning into God in their lowest moments, in this lonely chapter, where discipline replaces motivation, when you stop chasing validation and start building conviction. It's not necessarily a punishment, it's more of preparation. It's where the foundation gets poured and settled, where it hardens. It's where your character catches up to your calling. So if you're in that season right now, just keep going. I know it's hard. I've been there. I mean, man, I know how it feels. It feels endless. And honestly, it kind of feels like I'm still going through that. But this is the work that no one sees, and that's why it matters. One day, you're gonna look back and you're gonna realize that this was part of that change that you've been wanting. And this was the moment that absolutely pivoted your life and changed everything. Not necessarily the wins, not the highlights of your life, but this lonely chapter was the part that made you, you. Everything you're looking for, praying for, asking for, working towards, the peace, the people, the success, the sense of purpose, it's all waiting on the other side of this version of you, right? All that you're asking for is waiting on the other side of the hard work. If you're not willing to do the hard work, the lonely work, the doubtful work of pushing through all of this trash, all of this just mess of problems that you have not addressed yet, and you don't do the necessary work of forgetting how it is that you were thinking beforehand, introducing new ideas and adapting them to become the person you want to be, then what's the point? What are you doing all of this for, right? Like, if you're voluntarily putting yourself in a state of pain with the objective of change, and you are not willing to do the change, then dude, like, what do you like? You like pain? Like, is that what you like? Honestly, it's weird because I found myself at a point where there was a specific part of myself that I was not willing to change because it was either just something that I was used to, it was like comfortable, or maybe I was just denying myself the fact that I could change. And things that were happening in my life kept bumping up against that little character trait, that little thing. And I found myself kind of stuck saying like, man, I guess like this is it, like this is as far as I go. But then you realize like, dude, you gotta keep your head down, man. Like, you gotta keep your head down, keep your heart right, keep building, because this lonely chapter, it doesn't last forever. But who you become, that person on the other side, that version of you that you're working towards, that's the version that lasts you a lifetime. That is who your kids are gonna look up to, who your wife is gonna love, who your mother's gonna be proud of, who your dad's gonna say, hey son, you made it, who your friends are gonna use for motivation, who everyone else that's looking at you is gonna look at you and be like, man, fuck, he did it. And this is not necessarily, again, it's not necessarily about validation. It's about doing what you said you were gonna do. And there's a very specific sense of satisfaction from that no other reward in life gives you. So, the lonely chapter. You know, the funny thing about the lonely chapter is that it doesn't end with a big moment. It ends quietly. One day, you kind of just wake up and you realize that you're not who you used to be. That pain that used to sting doesn't sting the same. That silence that used to hurt you now feels more like peace, and you start to see yourself differently. And that's when the next stage begins, because once the loneliness shapes you, you reach that point where there's nowhere left to run. No distractions, no noise, no validation, just you. And when it's just you, you have to look in the mirror and face everything you've become. All the good that you've turned from that bad, and all that bad that sadly has kind of stayed. You just have to face everything. Look at yourself in the mirror and understand that that's part of you, and you still have a long way to go, but you've come that far. That's the mirror stage. It's not about grinding anymore necessarily. It's not about working harder. It's about understanding. It's about taking a hard look at yourself, your patterns, your fears, your truth, and deciding what stays and what goes. right? You've already done the work to change into the person that you need to be in order to fulfill your goals. Now you need to decide, okay, we need to trim out this fat. We need to figure this out. That lonely chapter builds your strength. That mirror stage builds your awareness. So if you're still in that lonely season, understand that it's leading somewhere. It's not just endless void. Because when the silence starts to settle, the reflection starts to speak, that's when you finally meet that person that all this pain was preparing you to become. So now, the mirror stage. Thank you so much for listening and for watching. It really does mean the world to us, and we really appreciate every single one of you who sticks around all the way until the end. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, leave us a review on the podcast platform. It really does help us grow. And until next time, see you guys.